welcome to this episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the lands and airwaves of Naarm where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded. Land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to the elders past and present and to any First Nations people listening today. Today I'm talking to Apoorva Kunte at the Westin Melbourne. I was lucky enough to be invited to the Westin's nod to Wicked the Musical, a glorious high tea with a very prominent green focus. High tea at the Westin is an impressive affair. The team goes all out on theme, creativity and flavour, and the Wicked high tea was no exception. I was keen to talk to Executive Chef Apoorva about the approach behind a themed high tea. I was also keen to talk to him again because I had such a lovely time talking to him in 2022. And since then, he's been having all sorts of adventures and I wanted to hear more. Before moving to Australia, Apoorva worked in hotels in India and the Middle East, and he's been in kitchens for nearly 20 years. Apoorva is one of those chefs who's constantly striving to do better, to find out more, and to share his knowledge with his team, as well as at the Cordon Bleu as a student assessor, and now also in his role on the Marriott APEC Culinary Advisory Board. I had the best time hearing about his latest research trip where he explored the fermentation process of cacao beans, both in terms of flavour and sustainability. He already has plans for the next several projects, so there'll be even more for me to talk about. You can enjoy the Wicked High Tea from now until mid-April, and I really recommend that you do. Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
How are you?
I've been well. Have you
Good.
been?
Good, thank you. Yeah.
How was your high tea experience?
It was amazing. It was a lot of food though.
It was. It always is.
It's so impressive when it comes out and you've got all of the gleaming sweet things. Yeah.
I hope the green came across.
The green certainly came across. And I was a bit worried about the green drink, but it was delicious.
Oh, good. Yeah, we had to play with the wicked colours and we used as many natural colours as possible with the pistachio and the lime and lemon. And,
the green cake though, that was very bright green.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's got pandan. It's got pandan leaf into it. And then we use a lime puree. But we blanch the lime peels and then make it into a puree. But we had to add a bit of colouring to it just to make it that fluorescent green.
Well, it's very fluorescent, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's got a bit of yellow, it's got a bit of blue to go into it to give it that fluorescent wicked colour to it.
It's so impressive and just so intricate too, the little cakes, like really beautiful. And the savoury, your maybe executive sous chef, I think, came out and had a chat and told us what was in all of the savoury things, and then someone else told us about the sweet things. So we were very well looked after.
That's the endeavour, that's what we want to achieve.
Yeah. Well, and there were lots of people in here as well, and there was a really cute birthday party of little girls. Oh, it was so great.
We have a lot of them coming and booking with us or hosting events upstairs as well in our event spaces. Yeah. Especially birthdays or baby showers. Yeah. Very popular option like that. Yeah.
Well, it's such, I was just sitting here thinking, I feel like I've been here quite a few times now. It's like a home away from home because I saw you, didn't I, on Cup Day for the champagne brunch, and then I was in the other day. But I haven't actually spoken to you since 2022.
No, we briefly spoke when we met at the event. Yeah. And I'd just come back from my trip to Africa.
That's right.
On the chocolate.
Yeah.
And then it's just been crazy since.
Amazing.
I would love for you to come down to the restaurant and try the restaurant someday.
Oh, I should do that too. I don't even know what it looks like. Where is it?
Yeah, upstairs on level 1. And that's the problem. Not many of our guests know that there is a full-fledged restaurant that's serving fantastic food.
How many does it seat?
It can seat 80.
Okay.
And then I have a private space that can seat 30, so 120 in a row. Yeah.
Okay.
And we are open on Wednesday to Saturday.
So is it mainly hotel guests then?
Hotel guests, a lot of pre-theatre diners as well.
Okay, yeah.
We've got a pre-theatre menu as well going on there.
Okay.
So quick dining, so just like a main course.
Yeah.
Price is pretty good.
Yeah.
For all the restaurants around the hotel there.
Yeah. So just to get back to the high tea, because I find it really intriguing, do you like the challenge of being given something like make a high tea to suit Wicked, or is it hard?
No, I absolutely love these challenges. It gives us a lot of to think about, a lot of things to think about, and then flavor and combinations to pair. Like with Wicked in particular, I did endeavor to, while I have not personally seen the show, the one that's playing next door, I've seen clips of it on YouTube and whatever I could gather, and there is a bit of camaraderie between the two main leads, and that's what we wanted to. While they are completely opposite in their personas, somewhere they do share the same heart and soul of sorts. So that's what we wanted to bring in, is with the ingredients that we did pair, it had a bit of mix to it. They stand on their own 2 feet in terms of flavor profiles, but when you pair them together, they do go well with each other as well. But they have their own identities.
So it's probably easier with sweets, is it, than with
It is
savoury?
much more easier with sweets.
Yeah.
I think with savoury, my idea was to bring in that the term Wicked literally to life by giving it a bit of punch in terms of flavor profiles, like the salmon, the hot smokiness of the salmon comes along, and it's got the sunrise lime going through it. The chicken has a bit of jalapenos and sun-dried tomato going through it. So it's got a spice it up kind of thing to it. The cauliflower tart, we pickle the cauliflower, while you would assume a tart or a quiche to have just egg and cauliflower. The pickle product on top with the walnut crumb adds that flavor. So that was the idea behind it.
I particularly did love the little slider, I guess it was. Was it a slider?
The green one.
The green one, because I went to, it was so delicious, and despite the colour, as well as the colour, because I went to a Lego thing at some stage in the city, and it was, they were very brightly coloured buns, but they were very dry, and that was so delicious because it was really just a perfect bun, but also green.
We did go, and because we don't produce our own bread in the hotel, I had to source that bun through a supplier. So that green's definitely not a natural green.
No.
They do add matcha powder to it as a flavor, but what matcha ideally does, it takes away from the moisture of the bread.
Okay.
So then we asked them to enhance the butter and the milk component into it and make it much more softer. And then we steam it ourselves here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So it gives you that much more plusher texture.
It was nice and moist and chewy. It was very delicious. And the scones, of course, always a feature of high tea. And there was a regular scone and then a really special one as well.
Yes. So it was an apricot and white chocolate scone on there. Again, a combination that we thought goes really well together. But because the top tier of the high tea has so many flavors going into it, we wanted to keep the scones very subtle. And either you have it at the start of your meal or prefer it at the end of your tea, depending on how you go. It does not really kill your palate or overpower your palate, because there's a lot of flavor packed products coming along in the next few.
Yeah, everyone was very envious of me when I put the photos up. They're like, "Wow, so impressive." And I feel like when I came for the champagne,
was that the high society?
Well, that was that first time I spoke to you. But when I came on Cup Day, it felt like there was Was it that same day, and there was a nautical theme as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's often themes.
Yeah. So it also gives the team a lot to brainstorm on. And, I would not lie. It's not all my menus. It's the team effort at the end of the day, and that's what I thrive on.
Yeah.
If I am able to develop a couple of my chefs to, and I got this menu just to say that, I give these menus out to them at the end of it to take home and say, hey, that's a product that you've come up with.
That's nice.
Because I remember my first day as a trainee, and the moment one of my ideas was implemented on a menu, I was so happy. I still have that menu kept with me.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I've added some part of me to this establishment. And they value me for who I am, and that's what I want to bring to the team that I work with.
Yeah.
So it's all a collective team effort that we come along with. We do brainstorm these flavors. We do multiple tastings before we actually come and say, okay, this is good to go.
And how many of you are involved to do that initial stage?
The initial stage is the entire team of 6 or 7 chefs.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
So there I've got 2 of my pastry chefs, and then 4 of the cooks, like 2 cooks and 1 supervisory role.
Yeah.
So all of them. Then we brainstorm, come up with our ideas, put it down together. Then we concise it, do some tastings of what we like. Then eventually it's just me and the pastry chefs, then we go on.
Yeah.
And then we give it out to the team as a blind tasting and see who rates what high, and say, okay, what did you think of that? We have the team up front who are serving our guests involved as well. So ultimately, they should be confident of the product that we are offering.
Yeah.
And then we go and finally tweak a menu.
Because then I just saw someone wearing a Formula One jacket, and I was imagining what a Formula One high tea might look like, but that's maybe too much of a charge.
No, because we have the Wicked going on. That's why we did not venture into the Formula One. But I've got an Easter high tea coming up next. So we're doing a buffet spread on Sunday, Easter Sunday, and I hope to bring in the high cheese, which the hotel has been known for a lot of years before COVID. So a version of that in the restaurant upstairs.
Okay.
And then a Diwali, like an Indian high tea. Because I haven't seen one anywhere else in the city. So a pop-up of, so that's still in the works.
That would be amazing.
A month long of Indian high teas.
Yeah. And I can imagine that could be quite colourful as well.
Yeah. And so many different flavors that guests might not have experienced before. Because there's so much regional India has to offer than the popular sweets that you would find in a sweet shop or a restaurant as well. So.
That's exciting. So you obviously really like it here because you're still here.
Yep. Love it.
And good. And I feel like I really love watching on Instagram all of the adventures that you're having to, I guess, to keep things alive for yourself. Like you're obviously really into research and finding out more. So I was particularly intrigued, as I said to you, about your trip to Africa for the cacao. So what prompted that?
I think 2 things that prompted. One was sustainability. I love to give back right from my childhood days to being associated with charities, and we would go from door to door asking for money and donations for a charity in India to now where I do runs and walks and support Cancer Council or the Star Kids Foundation. So the sustainability angle of it was really something that I wanted to learn about. There are a lot of the bigger brand of chocolate that talk about sustainability, but is something happening on the ground level is what I wanted to see. They say, for example, all the chocolate that I use is fair trade. Or I'm able to pretty much link it to the farmer or the region that it has come from. But I wanted to go to the region and see if there is something happening for those farmers, or if they are actually getting the money that we are investing into as well. So that was the number 1 angle of it. And number 2 was obviously my love for chocolate. And I've always worked with chocolate, had chocolate, consumed chocolate in different ways, but the entire process of it leading to the bean where it's being crushed to make the cocoa mass out of it. I wanted to learn that process, and I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised to see I had 7 or 8 chocolatiers with me who did not know of the process at all. So they've always worked with chocolate. They know everything else from the processed product to the end of it, but they had no idea of how much work goes into the processing of it to be able to reach that stage where the flavors of the bean change the entire, or the fermentation technique changes the entire flavor of the chocolate.
Okay. So where did you go?
To Ivory Coast.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Was that easy to organise? Is that a dangerous place?
No, it was not a dangerous
Okay.
place. Ivory Coast is the largest producer of cocoa in the world. We did reach out to some of our chocolate suppliers to see if we can go and visit, and then they helped organize trip to plantations and all of that. And it was really nice to see that they are indeed supporting the community, and you could see water tanks being developed or schools being developed on the ground, and these cocoa farmers are actually benefiting from a lot of the things that we do. So there are multiple brands available in the market, and I'm not sure what each of them do, but I was happy to see that there is groundwork happening as well, and they are benefiting from it.
So you're talking about the process. How long is the process from the bean through to what you would use in the kitchen?
From harvesting the bean to the fermentation of the bean, it's a 10-day process. Once the bean is fermented, then it's the drying that depends on the climate, and if you're doing a natural sun drying or you're putting it in an oven of sorts and drying it, so that then takes that.
So it's fermented before it's dried.
It is fermented, and that's where the flavor of the bean changes
I
completely.
see. How do they ferment it?
Oh, they have these, like how wine is aged in old casks.
Okay.
They've got these wooden crates that already has the bacteria in it.
Oh.
And then the beans go in it,
idea.
and then they are turned around 3 times in a matter of 3 to 4 days. So they keep regulating that to give in oxygen into the fermentation process. Because after the first day, the sugar is completely gone from the cocoa. It's all converted to alcohol. And then ultimately, the beans are dried, taken to the factories. And I think that process takes another 10 days or so, depending on the time that it requires to reach the factory.
Wow.
It's
okay.
a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
In fact, in just harvesting like 1 kilo of beans, you had to break through 7 kilos or 8 kilos of cocoa pods. And then so it's really, the content or the yield is very low. And at the end of it, once those are harvested and fermented, then it reduces further on.
Yeah. And how many beans per plant?
They are mainly pods.
Pods. Right.
For every pod, they are seasonal in nature, so they alternate. Some of the species give fruit alternate years.
Yeah, right.
And some of them are different because they are now hybrid as well, where they are combining 2 species to make a pod. So it depends on the tree and the age of the tree. So it varies here.
Has it changed the way you work with chocolate?
It has. I think I'm a lot more careful of making sure that there's no wastage of the product. A lot more careful making sure that every part of, if there is after use, like for glazing and use of cakes, are we able to recycle that product somewhere else, or are we able to use it even if it's going into a staff canteen, but does not land into the bin version of it. So that's definitely been one of my things to look at and change that perspective. But also I've now started looking at chocolate from a flavor perspective more. Earlier it was just dark milk and white. Now there are different flavors in a dark, and the amount of cocoa obviously impacts that flavor. However, the way each producer of chocolate or cocoa ferments their product also changes. So a 70% dark chocolate, for example, from Calibu, 70% from Valrhona, 70% from Belcollard, same cocoa content in them, but they will all taste different because of the fermentation techniques that they have used. And the bacteria that thrive in those tanks. More so, they have introduced the sourdough bread bacteria now into chocolate as well. So that changes a lot of other flavor profiles.
So what would that taste like?
I think very umami rich. Yeah, a lot of umami flavors coming through. I've tasted I tasted like 12 different varieties of chocolate during the trip at different stages, and then the amount of fermentation as well, that varies.
It's amazing, isn't it? How fascinating.
It is a whole world, and I think I've just touched on the tip of it. There's so much knowledge that you can gain.
Yeah, right. So what's next? What's the next adventure?
Next is, I hope to do a trip to Italy or Japan and learn. Italy is to understand the cheese making process and the fermentation techniques or the aging techniques that the country uses. And Japan is just to, I think, the finesse or the care that the Japanese take in a fruit that they produce on the tree, and wrapping the fruit, making sure that the quality that they want you to have is exactly the same as when it's harvested. So all of those things is what I want to learn, the why of it.
Yeah. And so when you're doing these, and perhaps even when you're having the questions, so when you're going on the trip and you're having the questions, how do you record some of these ideas and the things that you learn? Do you just remember them, or do you write things down? Do you have photos?
Do a lot of pictures, and I write things down on my notes on the phone, and then I flick through them every time the topic does come up. I always have a separate notepad which is broken down into seasons.
Right.
And say, if tasting the chocolate I had, or I heard someone say, oh, this and that pairing goes really well, however that fruit is only coming in a particular season, then I write it down. Because it's not reinventing the wheel. I'm sure a flavor combination that I am doing, somebody else somewhere in the world has done it, or someone's grown up with it. But we just do not have the knowledge because there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
And then I look back on those ideas and say, hey, and then use our own knowledge and cooking techniques that we know to finesse that list. A lot of notes. I tell my chefs, we've got a working document. It's called a master menu document. So we keep anything that we think of, any idea that pops up when we are on our days off, or when we do visit a winery, or whatever it is under the sky, we just pop in a line, and then that becomes our working document. Every time we need to do a menu change, we look through these and say, okay, is there something that pops up and that you still find interesting to invest some time and redo and recreate? And we do that.
I think it's a great way of doing it, and I think it's like I was telling someone the other day, when you start writing, say you want to get into writing, and you write things down every day that you observe, the more often you do that, the more you observe, and the more interesting things you see that make you think about something else. So I guess that's what perhaps it's getting them to do that as well,
Yeah.
the thoughts and the inspiration and so on.
Yeah.
The more you observe, the more you observe. Yeah.
It is.
How great. Well, obviously the Westin's in really great hands because you've got so many ideas.
I think it's me and the team.
Yes.
I'm nothing without the team that I work with. So hats off to them than me.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Apoorva Kunte at the Westin Melbourne. If you liked what you heard, you can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Westin Melbourne. That's all one word, and it's WESTIN Melbourne. And also on Chef Apoorva's own Instagram page, which has some beautiful shots of food. That's at CHEFAPOORVA. If you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. It's good to follow me on Instagram because then you'll know when the stories come up. You can read the chat and become a subscriber at www.conversationwiththechef.com. I would love it if you told a friend about my chats, and of course you can follow me and maybe even give me a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Once again, thanks for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.